I challenged myself to see whether I could create a whole team based on current Premier League football managers. And to do this, I'm going to go back to FIFA 2005, where a lot of the current day Premier League managers were still in their playing careers. Not all of them, of course, but hopefully enough to create a full team. And if I'm successful in creating a full team of current day Premier League managers, I'm going to stage a little knockout competition between the team that I create versus all the teams they currently manage in real life. I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, let's see if we can build the team. First of all, we're going to go to Real Sociedad in Spain, where we can find current Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta. He's actually pretty good in FIFA 2005. Not amazing, but he's probably going to be one of the best players on our team. So which team are we going to use to create this team of managers? Well, I'm just going to pick the team that was local to me when I was growing up, which is Stockport County. Okay, next we're going to go to Atletico Bilbao, also in Spain, where we can see Aitor Karanka there, interestingly, a previous Premier League manager. But the player we're here for is Andoni Iraola. Here he is, he's just called Iraola. I guess they didn't put his first name in the game for whatever reason. But I think he's a good player for us because he's a right back and we don't see too many fullbacks as managers for whatever reason. So yeah, another one transferred to Stockport County. Okay, coming over to England, we now go to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Of course, a current Premier League side, though they were in the Championship in FIFA 2005. And we need Keith Andrews, the current Brentford manager. Unfortunately, his stats are pretty abysmal, and he's not even that young, so we can't even say that he's got a lot of headroom to grow. But he's a current Premier League manager, which means that he has to go on the team. And of course, we're going to transfer him to Stockport County as well. Okay, we need to go to Chelsea next, where we can find Scott Parker. Of course, current Burnley manager in the FA Premier League. Now, again, his stats are pretty good, pretty similar to Arteta, so Scott Parker, he's probably going to be one of the best players on our team. Now, it was a while ago that I recorded these clips, and so there was a time when I thought I was going to have Enzo Maresca on this team. And what a player he would have been for us. He's got amazing stats in this game. But of course, as we know, Chelsea and Enzo Maresca have parted ways. But don't worry, I will give you a final look at how the team lines up at the end of this section of the video. So obviously Enzo Maresca will not make the final cut. And another player that won't make the final cut either is Ruben Amorim. I was a bit gutted to lose Maresca, but I am quite grateful actually to lose Ruben Amorim because his stats are absolutely diabolical. We will not miss him at all, in the game and perhaps in real life as well. Okay, we head to Bournemouth next in Football League One, where we can find Eddie Howe still playing. Of course, in real life, he is the current Newcastle manager. Unfortunately, again, his stats aren't too good, but he's a Premier League manager, so we have to have him in there. Now, this one is a pretty interesting one. So we're going to go to Porto in the Portuguese League, where we can actually find Nuno Espirito Santo, current West Ham manager. He was actually a goalkeeper in his playing days, which was something that I didn't know until I started looking into it for this video. So this is a really good one, even though he's not highly rated. Just being able to find a current Premier League manager who was a goalkeeper is actually really crucial for the team. And I did realise at one point that I'm probably going to have to at least fill out the subs bench with some managers from the Championship as opposed to the Premier League, because there just aren't enough Premier League managers to fill out an entire squad. So first 11 plus substitutes. So we're going to get Valerian Ismail, who is the current Blackburn Rovers manager. As you can see, his stats are actually pretty good. However, as he's a Championship manager, I won't be factoring him into the first 11 if I can help it. But he could be a really good impact sub for us. And another Championship manager, which we're going to need probably to fill out the whole squad, is Frank Lampard, current Coventry City manager, who sit top of the Championship at the time of recording this video. So again, he is obviously a really good player. So we'll see how we get on in terms of Premier League managers, in terms of whether he actually goes into the starting 11 or not. Okay, next we go to Stoke City in the Championship, where we can find a player called John Eustace. Now, he is the current manager of Derby County, also in the Championship. So again, probably going to be one of those players who just sits on the subs bench, but basically we need him to get a full squad together. Now, I didn't think we'd be saying this in this video, but I need to go to Mansfield Town in League 2. Yes, there's actually a player that we need for the squad who was playing in League 2 at Mansfield Town, and it's Alex Neil, current Millwall boss. Again, another Championship manager as opposed to a Premier League manager, but again, there is, on this game, a minimum number of players you need for a squad, so we're just going to have to fill it out with Championship managers where we can. And here's another one. We head over to Brighton, who are currently playing in the Championship in FIFA 2005, where we can find Nathan Jones. Nathan Jones is the current Charlton Athletic manager, so another Championship manager, who's just going to fill out the squad for us, but still, another manager who was still in their playing days in FIFA 2005. And also another one as well, going over to Club Bruges in Belgium, where we can find Philippe Clement. He's a half-decent player as well, actually, so could be a decent player if we want to bring him on. But he is the current Norwich City manager in real life. So yeah, another Championship manager which we're bringing into the side just to make up the numbers. And the last Championship manager which I believe that we need in order to make up the numbers is Paul Heckingbottom. He is the current Preston North End manager. Again, really poorly rated in this game, of course, so hopefully he's just going to be a player that helps to make up the numbers, and he's not necessarily going to be in our starting 11. So, as I mentioned, it was a few weeks ago that I recorded those initial clips where we were transferring players to Stockport County for the manager team. Well, now, of course, it's a few weeks later, and there have been some changes to the managers of Premier League clubs. So, let's go in and take a look at how the final squad is shaping up. Well, we have Nuno Espirito Santo in net, of course, current West Ham manager. We have Andoni Iraola, current Bournemouth boss, at right back. We have Sean Dyche, so current Nottingham Forest manager, at centre back. And he is partnered by current Newcastle manager, Eddie Howe. And at left back, we have Liam Rosinia. Of course, he replaced Enzo Maresca at Chelsea. So, looking at our defence, it's not looking too great, to be honest. Nuno is 1.5 stars. Iraola is 2 stars. Sean Dyche is 2 stars. Eddie Howe is 1.5 stars. And Liam Rosinia is 2 stars. So this could actually be a real weak point for our team, but we'll see how it goes. Moving into midfield, this is where it actually gets a lot better for us. So we have Philippe Clement because unfortunately we didn't quite have enough Premier League managers to create an entire starting 11. So we have had to use just two Championship managers to fill in. And the first one of those is Philippe Clement. And then we've got, of course, current Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta. Oh, and of course, Philippe Clement is the current Norwich manager, just to remind you. And then we have Scott Parker, current Burnley manager, on the right side. And then we do, at the moment, have Frank Lampard in centre attacking mid. Now, as I mentioned, we didn't quite have enough players or managers in real life now to make out a whole first 11. But I was a little bit undecided as to whether to play Frank Lampard or not, because he does feel like a bit of a cheat code, to be honest. But we'll see. So my strategy here was just to basically see if we could put all our best players in midfield. So I wasn't necessarily prioritising the finishing of chances. What I was trying to do was just overload the midfield so that we could just create as many chances as possible and hopefully score some. So that was the tactic. But anyway, up front we have new Man United caretaker manager Michael Carrick. He is 3 stars, so he's not that bad actually. But as you can see, he doesn't really have that many stats that lend himself to being a good forward. And of course, something you might well have noticed is that we don't actually have any recognised forwards in the first 11. And that's because I don't believe there are any managers in the Premier League or the Championship that were still in their playing careers at this time who were also forwards. So unfortunately, we're asking Michael Carrick to fill in up front. And we're also asking Keith Andrews, current Brentford manager, to fill in up front. Now, he is, I think, the joint worst player on our team at 1.5 stars. But he does at least have a little bit of acceleration about him. And I think that's about all I can say, really. And then going to the bench, we have Valérien Ismaël. Again, he's a really good centre-back, but just because we have 2 Premier League managers who can play centre-back, we have to start with Sean Dyche and Eddie Howe. But if times get tough, we can always bring on Ismaël to really shore things up at the back. Then we have Paul Heckingbottom, Alex Neil, John Eustace and Nathan Jones. So yeah, not exactly what you might call impact subs, really. And then the 3 players over here, if you're wondering, they're just 3 leftover players from Stockport County. So yeah, we won't be using those in the reserves, but as I say, we have to have a minimum number of players to actually field a team, essentially. We can't have too few players. Another worry is that we don't have a sub-goalkeeper. We only have 1 goalkeeper, so I hope Nuno is able to stay fit for this whole competition. Okay, let's get into the tournament. Okay, the next step was to go ahead and create a tournament. So we've got County, Arsenal, Blackburn, Charlton and Chelsea on the first page of teams there. Man United, Newcastle, Norwich, Burnley and Coventry City. Of course, these are all the teams that the managers in our team now manage, if that makes sense. Derby, Millwall, Nottingham Forest, West Ham, Bournemouth, and I think we might have one more, one more, which is Brentford. Obviously, it's a mix of current day Championship and Premier League teams. And what I'm going to do now is just randomise all the fixtures, and we have been drawn against Norwich City in the first round. There's Forest and Bournemouth, Millwall and Derby County as well. And we've got Coventry versus Burnley, Brentford Charlton, Blackburn against Man United, Arsenal Newcastle and Chelsea West Ham. So here we go, coming out now for the tunnel for the first time. For the first match in this competition for our Prem Manager team in the Prem Manager Cup. Of course, there's Michael Carrick. I think all of them, maybe apart from a couple, Lampard and Ismaël if he comes on, are all like generic faces. But yeah, so it's going to be hard to tell who's who. But yeah, Norwich on the attack there, but fortunately Nuno was equal to the attempt. And then we come forward with our first attack of the game, so Clement is going to put in Michael Carrick, who finishes with his weaker foot. Of course, Michael Carrick just standing in as a striker for us, as is Keith Andrews as well. But Carrick does have the better stats of the 2, slightly when it comes to forwards. Obviously, they're both midfielders, really. But here we go again, Parker to Arteta, to Keith Andrews, who somehow fashions an opportunity, but of course blasts it wide. I do think Keith Andrews is going to be a bit of a liability for us going forward. Norwich with the opportunity again, and Nuno manages to save. Not a convincing save. And it's Norwich again, shoot again, but Nuno saves, and somehow it ends up in the back of our net. I'm not quite sure what happened there. It almost looked like our defender kicked it against their forward and it ended up going in the net. It's a really strange one. Almost looks like an own goal. But still, we're not out of it yet, as Adam Drury, it was there, who commits the foul. And it's going to be Mikel Arteta who steps up to take this free kick. Let's see what he can do. And it's in. Oh, Mikel Arteta puts us 2-1 up away at Norwich. Now, I should mention my R3 on my controller was actually not working when I recorded these matches. And when you take a free kick on FIFA 05, R3 is used to put spin on the ball, which is usually necessary. But yeah, we had to just do without. So Keith Andrews with another attempt and another shot that, of course, goes wide. As I say, I'm slightly worried about Keith Andrews going forward. Michael Carrick into Keith Andrews again, another opportunity and another wayward shot there, unfortunately. Now second half, we're playing Keith Andrews again, who misses again. And what have we got coming up next? Oh, I did decide to make a substitution. I did put Valérien Ismaël on, just to shore things up at the back, because we are in a precarious position still. And here come Norwich, in fact, with a great opportunity, but Nuno, the 1.5-star goalkeeper, is equal to it. And now an effort from Frank Lampard late on with his weak foot comes off the post, and then we actually end up committing a foul there, unfortunately. So yeah, it's probably just about shoring things up, trying to see this game out, although we do have a late attempt from Michael Carrick on his weaker foot, and he does end up putting that wide, but it shouldn't matter, hopefully, because I think with the goal kick that's about to take place after this, it really should be the last kick of the game. Let's see if that's true. And the ref has blown the final whistle. There we go. So we do manage to advance from the first round against Premier League, at least in 2005, Premier League opposition. Here are the results. So we beat Norwich, Bournemouth beat Nottingham Forest, and Millwall beat Derby County. Burnley beat Coventry on penalties, Brentford beat Charlton on penalties, Man United hammered Blackburn Rovers, Newcastle beat Arsenal on penalties, and Chelsea scraped past West Ham. So yeah, I think there are some teams that I'm worried about, but fortunately for us, we have drawn against Bournemouth in the next round, so we've managed to avoid Man United, Chelsea and Newcastle United. So yeah, we've had a pretty good cup run so far. And here we are, straight into the next game. Now I think one thing I noticed straight away is that Bournemouth seemed to have us a lot more figured out than Norwich did. Our midfield tactics weren't working quite as well. Bournemouth were really going man to man with us. But we do manage to have a fairly early chance and it was saved by the keeper. But here come Bournemouth, and again our centre-backs are just getting out-muscled. Eddie Howe and Sean Dyche just unfortunately not really up to the task. So we'll see how that goes. And now we're trying to break with Arteta, but again, Bournemouth really good at closing us down in midfield. Bournemouth with another chance, and it's a great save from Nuno. Again, our centre-back, I couldn't see if it was Howe or Dyche. Oh, but wait, we have a chance. Oh, and it's saved. Oh, and then deflected wide. Yeah, our two centre-backs just don't seem to be able to out-muscle any of the opposition. And here we go, Bournemouth again, another cross. Oh no. And it was, again, centre-back, I think maybe Sean Dyche there, just gets out-muscled by the forward. And then Nuno manages to make the save, but he palms it right back out into the danger area. I think it was Sean Dyche, and yeah, the Bournemouth forward is the first guy to react. He reacts faster than any of our guys can. So we do find ourselves 1-0 down at this stage, unfortunately. So I do decide to make some subs now. I haven't really got many options on the bench moving forward, but I do decide to put on John Eustace in place of Keith Andrews. And I do bring on Valérien Ismaël again, just as a better option for us defensively. So here's Michael Carrick, and now it falls to Arteta, Lampard, and now John Eustace with his first touch of the game. Lampard now, can Lampard do it? Lampard does do it. Frank Lampard, as I say, maybe a little bit of a cheat code with this team, to be fair. But we definitely needed him in that moment. He's probably our best player going forward. He definitely is our best player on the team. And then soon after, we were on the attack again, over 50 minutes on the clock, and it's off the post. And Michael Carrick cannot follow up what looked like an easy chance. Obviously, it was a bit of a tight angle, but he's just put it straight into the side netting, unfortunately. But Bournemouth weren't done. Here they go, they're fashioning another chance, but it was high and wide and not at all handsome. Here we go with Parker, back to Lampard now. We find ourselves with Michael Carrick, who's shimmied past the defender, who nearly gets it on. John Eustace with the follow-up is blocked. This game is on a knife edge right now, but Bournemouth find themselves with a corner. And we do manage, yes, Nuno manages to come and take that. Now, what can we build from the back? This might be a good opportunity for us because, as I say, Bournemouth have been pretty solid against us in midfield. So this is a chance to catch them out of position. And we've done just that with Frank Lampard and now John Eustace, the impact sub. The impact sub has just weak foot P-rolled at it into the bottom corner to put us ahead in the game for the first time. Look at that. Absolutely horrendous shot I mean, I'm assuming he's right-footed. Who knows? But John Eustace, and I do decide to make another sub just to waste a little bit of time. So who are we going to take off? Michael Carrick is the player that's going to come off. We do need to conserve our best players, of course. So what can we do? It's 90 minutes now. Again, we are 2-1 up, and Norwich have committed Bournemouth. Bournemouth have committed a foul late on. So yeah, all we need to do here is just retain possession really and see the game out. So here's Jones. What a ball! Oh my god, how did he see that? And it's John Eustace, out of everybody on the team. John Eustace with another weak foot P-roller. First time in off the post. I mean, wow. I genuinely didn't think we had anything on the bench, but John Eustace just cropped up with 2 goals, and that's how it ended. It ended 3-1. So again, even though we've shipped at least a goal a game against better opposition, we managed to do it. Elsewhere, there were wins for Burnley, Man United and Newcastle have beat Chelsea. So they've beaten, I think, Arsenal and Chelsea. So what a cup run they're having. So who will we get in the next round? Let's find out now. So we've been drawn against Burnley. I cannot believe it. To be honest, this isn't great for the video because it's not very dramatic to be drawn against some of the worst teams in the competition. But that's just how it went, unfortunately. I was going to have a look to see who the top goal scorers are. Obviously, John Eustace for us, 2 goals in 1 appearance. Burnley, 2 goals for Micah Hyde, so he's one to watch out for when we play them next. Man United, surprisingly, Roy Keane getting the goals there, which is quite strange. And then Newcastle United, the goals are shared around a little bit more, with Shearer and Butt getting on the score sheet. So here we go, kicking off our game against Burnley, and unfortunately, again for the video, I mean, good for my team, unfortunate for the video, but Burnley ended up being a complete walkover. We had no trouble, spoilers, we had no trouble beating them whatsoever. As you can see, every pass was just cutting through. We were even doing 1-2s with the post. And yeah, even Keith Andrews got on the score sheet. I think you know you're bad when Keith Andrews scores against you. And Michael Carrick with the header there. Again, not really a player known for his attacking headers. But yeah, Michael Carrick on the score sheet, and Burnley did manage to fashion some chances at the end of the first half, and it's a header, but it was easily saved by Nuno. So let's see what we can do. Again, we've proven in the last game that we can build from the back. Not that we necessarily need any more goals here. I think the game is even pretty much done in the first half. It comes to Michael Carrick now, and we play a lovely 1-2-3 with our forward players, and it's Frank Lampard who finishes off the move. Absolutely delightful football, just a ball round the corner there. Lampard with the touch. Could the defender have managed to put a tackle in there? Maybe. But yeah, that was it for the first half. An absolute demolition job so far. Second half was kind of more of the same, really. Keith Andrews unfortunately hitting the post there. Sadly unable to double his tally. So I did think, let's rest some of our best players for the final, and let's put on some players who perhaps won't get that many minutes in this competition. So I did put on Nathan Jones, I think that was. I did wonder whether you could just swap the positions after you made a sub, but you can't for whatever reason. I guess that just wasn't something that was introduced yet. And of course, we did put on our impact sub, John Eustace, although we don't really need him to do anything in this game for us. Again, Burnley had a chance, but again, Nuno Espirito Santo was more than equal to it. And here we come with Arteta. Who are we going to play in? It's John Eustace. Can he do it? Of course he can. This guy is practically left-footed by now. John Eustace has now scored 3 goals in 2 appearances for us. But here come Burnley again. Can they grab a consolation? No. Again, Nuno is able to keep them out. But here we go. Burnley with the corner, and they've headed it wide. Defending corners is a real challenge for us, just because our centre-backs, Dyche and Howe, neither of whom don't really have any strength at all. So it's really hard to muscle anyone out of the way. just as it is to stop John Eustace scoring, apparently. He's now scored 4 goals, I think, in 2 games for us. Absolutely unstoppable. So there we go, 6-0 against Burnley somehow. I don't know how or why that happened when the other opposition, even Bournemouth, were no pushovers. But yeah, we absolutely demolished Burnley. And we will now go into the final, so it's time to find out who is going to be our opposition. And it was Newcastle United who beat Manchester United 3-2. So we will now face Newcastle United in the final. Let's see how that goes. They will be by far and away our toughest opposition. So here we go. We walk out to the final against Newcastle United. Newcastle were a really good team back then. Always in the top half of the table, playing for like Champions League spots. Of course, they had players like Alan Shearer, even Patrick Kluivert at this time as well. They were a really solid team, and they're a solid team nowadays, to be fair. So yeah, it is Eddie Howe's Newcastle that we'll face in the final, and I really don't think we're going to have it all our own way. In fact, it wasn't long before Newcastle started to build an attack. It was in the 11th minute, and in comes... They spread it out wide, but they bring it back into the centre. Back out wide again, can they fashion a chance? The shot is saved by Nuno, but it's palmed out right into the danger area again. And it's Jermaine Genius, who is a pundit nowadays. Jermaine Genius who grabs the goal. Unfortunately, Nuno, I know he's made a lot of saves, but when he does make a save, he just can't push it out of the danger area. So I think it is a little bit of a case of the stoppable force and the movable object, unfortunately. But here we go, we had a chance straight away to try and get back into it. It's Keith Andrews to Michael Carrick, who heads just wide. We had a chance right after Newcastle scored to try and get back into the game, but sadly it wasn't to be. And not long after that we had a corner. Can we do anything from this? And the answer is Keith Andrews nearly did. Why did it have to fall to Keith Andrews? It could have been anybody else and I think we would have had a better chance of scoring. Unfortunately though, it was into the side netting. And I think we could well come to rue these chances that we've missed. But we managed to build again, and it's Michael Carrick this time, and it hits it off the post and Newcastle almost score an own goal. But it does end up going out of play. And that was it for the first half, really. There's Sean Dyche, even though he's a regen on this game, well, sorry, a generic should I say, basically looks like Sean Dyche does in real life anyway. So do we make any subs? Well, I decide to go early with John Eustace this time. I decide to put him on at half time. Let's see if he can make the difference for us. But straight away, Newcastle, from the kickoff in the second half, we're already building something on the left wing. Let's see what they can do then. They play it back out to the fullback position and then back to the wing. And then they're in a good position to put a ball in the box. And of course, Alan Shearer is way stronger than either of our two centre-backs, and he manages to muscle his way in. I didn't even want to watch the replay, honestly. I was so mad. I was just like, oh my god. How on earth are we going to come back from 2-0 down in one half? But we immediately have a chance, and it's Frank Lampard. And it's way wide, unfortunately. So yeah, 52 minutes, now 55 minutes on the clock. Lampard into John Eustace. Could it be his moment? No. The most reliable player, strangely, has missed the target this time. Absolutely gutting. So I was getting a bit desperate at this point. I do decide to put Valérien Ismaël on, of course, just to make sure that we can, well, to try not to ship any more goals, basically. But here comes Philippe Clement. It's 70 minutes on the clock now. We've only got 20 in-game minutes to try and find a reply. And it's into Michael Carrick. And Michael Carrick scores for us. This time on his stronger foot. 72 minutes gone and we have found a way back into this game. We don't know if it's all going to be for nothing yet. As I say, like, when I put this video together, I really couldn't guarantee that I would win this competition, but I'm going to try. Carrick again, almost straight away, but it's saved by Shea Given at the near post. and nothing came of the following corner, unfortunately. So here we go, trying to make something now. We are back into Michael Carrick now. Oh, Carrick trying to go all the way on his own, and it's Michael Carrick again. Michael Carrick this time. John Eustace not the hero for us. This time it's Michael Carrick, and with 84 minutes played, we managed to pull it back to 2-2 from being 2-0 down. We've pulled it back to 2-2, and I think it was in off the post there. Michael Carrick, the absolute saviour for us and for Man United in real life right now. So here we go, we are piling on the pressure now. We're with Mikel Arteta, and he is fouled by Nicky Butt in a dangerous area. 90 minutes on the clock, and Mikel Arteta has the opportunity to win it for us. Let's see if he can do it. Mikel Arteta steps up, the ball is laid off, and it's a goal! It's in! Mikel Arteta, the current Arsenal manager, has won the game 3-2 for us in the 90th minute. You could not write this. When I envisaged this video, I never ever thought it was going to end like this. A Mikel Arteta free kick on a controller where R3 doesn't even work, so I can't even put spin on the ball, has scored a free kick in the 90th minute to potentially win us the Prem Manager Cup. So I do decide to put on one more sub just to waste a bit of time and allow someone to get some minutes. So I really hope Newcastle don't score, because I have taken off a couple of my best players now. And I'm just waiting for the final whistle to go. Surely any moment, there it goes. The final whistle has gone, and Stockport County have won the Premier League Managers Cup, with a couple of Championship managers in there too to make up the numbers, if you want to use the full name, of course. There we go, Andoni Iraola there. We didn't really see much of him in the game. And there's John Eustace, probably still our top goal scorer for the tournament. Well, I don't know if Carrick actually managed to draw with him in the end. There's Laurent Robert, and I'm sure, here we go, we're going to get the team photo. Sadly, no cup in sight for whatever reason, but that was it. There we go, and Michael Carrick was probably the hero of the day, and of course Arteta for banging in that winner. And yeah, I think that's about it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's something a little bit different, but yeah, hope you enjoyed it regardless, and thank you so much for watching.